going to come out and cash in the main event, and they didn't do that.
No.
It was weird. Kane over CM Punk. Kane defeats CM. I don't know. I think CM Punk would have gotten more of a rub. You know what I mean? CM Punk's going to go on and do bigger things. I just don't. Kane is used in one of those roles. You know what I mean? One of those roles where if the guy loses, he doesn't look weak because it's still Kane. You know what I mean?
They keep Kane just like Big Show. Even though Big Show from time to time isn't really relevant, as harsh as that sounds, he's still the big giant monster. When if you have a baby face, or let's say Big Show's baby facing, and you got a heel, like a cowardly heel who doesn't want to fight anybody, what's the big announcement always? All right, well, tonight in this very ring, you're going to face the Big Show because he's the big scary guy, you know what I mean? So Kane's one of those kind of guys, no matter what.
Yeah, just a bigger guy, and then to give him the win over CM Punk, you know what I mean? It's not like a CM Punk defeated Kane. It's going to hurt Kane. It's the end of the world for Kane, you know? CM Punk is kind of... He's on the verge of he's not a main eventer yet, but he's right there. You know what I mean? He's on that.
I'm thinking he's gonna get the RVD treatment and the Booker T treatment because he was right there, like you're talking about now. What, a year, maybe even 2 years ago, he was a world champ. You know, he was there, and they decided not to really go full throttle with it, and now he's kind of being scaled back to top mid card. You know what I mean? Somewhere in that
top
level.
Mid card, exactly. Top mid card, but right before the main event. You know what I mean? Not quite to the main event yet. And it's interesting. I mean, last year when he held the title, ratings didn't drop. You know what I mean? I mean, they held steady. So it's not like, and I think that's part of the reason why they had him win twice in a row. You know, why they had him win again. Because they know that if they put the title on this guy, that ratings,
you can't go by ratings. You're down to the core audience for ratings anyway. I mean, you're going to get around what we're doing now, give or take a few, half points. But it's the house show attendance, it's the merchandise. That's what you got to look at when you put a title on somebody, is the house show, because he's got a main event, a house show. There's no TV, there's no storylines going on. It's just matches at a local event. And you're not going to go if you don't care about the world champion. But I don't remember what the numbers were doing back then when CM Punk was champion. They could have been, like you said, like the ratings were. They could have just stayed the same and, no significant drops, no reason not to give him the chance,
Yeah, but I think they look at the past. If the past is an indication, I know what you mean. You're always that 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 from Monday Night Raw every week is going to be there. You know what I mean? And if they fall below that into the twos, they were down in the twos not too long ago, 2.9 or something like that. 2.8,
yeah, I've seen something like that.
Yeah, so I mean they've got some things to worry about if they get to that level again. But CM Punk, his time will come. His time will come. Like I said, next month they're in Chicago for Judgment Day, so I don't know if they'll do it this quick. There's no need to rush it, you know what I mean? Especially now that you got Edge there as your champion. Although Edge is supposed to take some time off at some point this summer, but you've got all these guys out right now. You've got Shawn Michaels out with knee problems. You've got The Undertaker who's working a limited schedule right now with knee injuries as well. Triple H is going to be out for
John Cena, yeah.
Yeah, John Cena. It looks like they're going to ski after last night. It looks like
yeah.
Well, Cena's not going to be able to work house shows because he's got that new movie that he's going to have to go film pretty soon. But he's still going to be at TV on a weekly basis. It's kind of similar to what he did when they filmed that movie down in New Orleans. Was it the Marine? I think it was, 12 rounds. 12 rounds film down there. No idea. But even still, I mean, Cena off the house shows is pretty big when you got all those other guys off the house shows too, because they're off TV and house shows, both. When you got Cena missing, the house shows business is going to be in the crapper for a little bit. They almost lost, which we can talk about now, but they're not going to. It appears we'll talk about it in the news. But Matt Hardy, they almost lost Sunday as well in the I Quit match, and that was the aftermath of the match, and it was all about Matt and his injury. Before the match, the whole story was, is Jeff leaving WWE, or is he going to re-sign, or is there something else that I heard that maybe nobody else knows about yet that's going on? But the whole story going in was Jeff, and what's his status? The story going out was Matt and his injury. Let's talk about the I Quit match at Backlash. Yeah, the I Quit match. This was This was their fourth match, right? Well, they had the WrestleMania match, then you had a stretcher match so this would have been their third match at the pay-per-view. So you had you had Matt up 2. And like you said, with Jeff Hardy possibly leaving, basically the gist of it is, we talked about it last week here on WZR Radio, is they've offered him several different contracts, and he's turned them all down to this point, at least as of last week. Haven't heard anything new on that just yet, but they offered him a 1-year deal as well, which is not normal. Usually they lock these guys down to 3-year deals, 5-year deals, sometimes even 10-year deals. And they offered him a 1-year contract to say, work through it, go a year.
Yeah, you're feeling it, yeah.
How you feel, yeah, and then we'll work on it from there. So it's interesting that Jeff Hardy was put over here over Matt. I think you had to do that, even if he leaves anyway. I mean, Matt's going to Raw anyway. You know what I mean? Jeff's going to be over on SmackDown. They'll be in different programs. But as of right now, we're going to have to follow the Jeff Hardy situation pretty closely here within the next few months. I think he's got 2 or 3 months left on that contract before it expires. And I don't think he wants to go back to TNA or anything like that. I think it's just a case of I'm burnt out, I need a break, and maybe they can work something out with him where they can lessen the workload. But then Kurt Angle is an example of that. Asked for some time off from live events, and Vince said, "Man, you're one of my top guys. I need you on these live events." And it may be a similar situation with Jeff Hardy where, maybe he's asked for some time off and they just can't afford to give it to him right now, you know what I mean, with all the big names out right now. So
his passion's always been questioned. I mean, there was a time, and even now still people make comparisons where he could be the new Shawn Michaels, the breakout guy from the tag team, the Rockers. He'll be the main guy to go on to be main event for years and years, the singles competitor out of the Hardy Boys. But he's always had passion issues. Like, he's always had problems staying into wrestling 100%. Like, he was doing goofy-ass poetry and music sometimes, and he wanted to do art and ride motorcycle bikes on dirt mountains, and he doesn't like going on the road, and he's had problems with drugs, and I mean, the guy just doesn't seem to have his head fully into wrestling like a Triple H or an Edge or somebody like that.
He doesn't have the motivation to go out there and work that brutal schedule, but also keep in mind that when the guy does go out there and works matches on pay-per-views or on SmackDown every week, I mean, when he's out there in front of the crowd, you can tell that he goes all out. He puts everything into it. I think it's just a matter of if he's not
a lifestyle, really, yeah.
If he's not at a TV taping, if he's not showcased when it comes to live events and these guys go on the road and they work a Friday night house show, a Saturday night house show, a Sunday night house show. Guy gets Monday off and then he has to show up at SmackDown tapings on Tuesday. And even recently, he's been on Raw on a weekly basis before the draft, you know what I mean? So the guy's been working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, flies home Wednesday, gets a day off on Thursday, and then it's right back out there on Friday again. You know what I mean? So it's maybe it's just a case of, the guy just needs some time off. And
well, everybody's got that same schedule. I mean, like I said, it's got to go back to the passion, the desire, the motivation, like you said. He doesn't really love the lifestyle of being a pro wrestler as much as you need to be as big as he could be, because he could be the guy if he was really into it, stayed committed, and WWE saw that and then started giving him stuff. He's serious, he's around, he's our new Shawn Michaels. Let's give him the stuff to work with now. They're probably scared to give him a lot of that stuff because he always pulls something like this. I can't count how many times the guy has been quote-unquote burnt out and wanted some time off, and this situation happens here where he just becomes kind of stingy in negotiations. If he doesn't get his way, he just leaves. He kind of doesn't care. He kind of doesn't care if he's there. You know what I mean? It's not that important to him.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here over the next few months. We'll keep you guys updated on the website WZROnline.com. How about this next segment at the Backlash pay-per-view, my man? Last week I was on here with Jose, and I said, next week I'm going to come on here, and I'm going to tell all you guys, I'm going to say, hey, this segment was absolutely horrible. We paid $35 to see two guys come out. They did the Kali Kiss Cam at the Backlash. What? Dude, what? I mean, you would have said it last week, too. Maybe, does this stuff look good on paper? When they do this in creative meetings and they look at this stuff on paper, and does Vince, does he laugh? Does he just laugh at this? Oh, this is going to come across great.
This whole segment, and there's something we're going to talk about in the news with Jim Ross that happened during this segment, but the whole segment is screaming exactly what you're talking about, who this appeals to, and it's Vince McMahon. He finds it funny, and what he does is, and this is my opinion, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree, he knows these guys personally in real life. He knows Santino. He knows the Great Khali. He knows Jim Ross. So it's funny to him to make fun of his friends in front of a large audience and in front of TV cameras. It's like Andy Kaufman syndrome. He's the only one who thinks it's funny because he's playing a joke that only he gets. He doesn't. Nobody. Yeah. I mean, to the public, we're just seeing Santino in drag, and Khali's somehow make believe in love with him, and he's hitting on Jim Ross, and we're like, what the hell is this? And it sucks because Santino. You ask me if I'm a fan. I'm not really that big of a fan, but Santino is the man. He is good. He's funny.
He's great. No, he's great, but Vince has got to sit there at the gorilla position, and he had to hear that crowd on Sunday night.